Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to look at a new band by request named Larkin Poe. This is a group of sisters. There's three sisters. There's two of them in this group, and they had a group previous to this with all three of them in it. Adrian, what do you know about Larkin Poe?
Well, I know the name. It was named after an ancestor of theirs who was a cousin of Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, and they started out as the Lavelle Sisters in 2005, releasing several independent albums between 2005 and 2010.
I know them not very well, to be honest with you. I think I've seen a little bit on YouTube here and there, but not full clips. I was just kind of curious, and it seems to me that they play acoustic instruments. And again, they're sisters, so it's always interesting to me these days to see what a family unit can do on stage. I mean, ever since The Warning, it's kind of piqued my curiosity. The only other examples I have are, in fact, the Allman Brothers, or bands like Oasis, which were or the Black Crowes, both of which were kind of a disaster for a while because the brothers didn't get along. But maybe sisters get along better than brothers in bands. Is that possible? So yeah, it's interesting. Apparently they were self-released for a while. They put a bunch of material out. Good for them. That's the way to do it. And eventually they signed with actually a home furnishing company called Restoration Hardware. Now, this is not unheard of, and this was in 2013. I mean, I've heard of artists signed up to Starbucks, places, companies that maybe have that type of a wing off the company that makes sense with their brand. They can kind of work it in. So they have kind of a rootsy sound, is my understanding. They come from Georgia, actually, same as the Allman Brothers for the most part. I mean, I know they, Allmans were a little bit around there, but they eventually based themselves in Macon, Georgia. But they're in Nashville, so I'm going to expect a little bit of country sound. The song we're going to look at today is Mad as a Hatter. So, of course, it sounds like the Alice in Wonderland reference of the Mad Hatter, which usually means something is amiss, in the state of Denmark within someone. So I don't know anything more about the song than that, except that we're looking at a version where they are, in fact, on stage, so it's live, and they're playing acoustic instruments. This came out in 2015, and it's the Convent Club Chapel. And I have a feeling that this is part of a DVD collection. Adrian, any thoughts ahead before we look at this?
Looking forward to finding out what this band sounds like and hearing the song, too.
Okay, let's go ahead and check this out.
You are so quiet. So are we. Sometimes. We wrote this for our grandfather, and he suffered from schizophrenia. And I think mental illness is one of those things that's very hard to talk about. It's an uncomfortable thing to talk about. But I think it's something that we should be open about it. It's really hard to watch somebody slipping away, especially recently our grandmother, our mom's mom, has been slipping away kind of into dementia. And so we are gonna remember our grandparents when we sing this next one. It's about mental illness. It's called Mad as a Hatter.
I know what time is. Time is a thief. It'll steal into bed and rob you while you sleep. You'll never feel it. It pulls off the covers, rifles through your head, and then you wake to find you can't remember what you just said. Happens to everyone. stole his mind, and I can't forget that 1/4 of his blood is mine. I try not to worry. Please don't come for me. I promise I'll be great. Just to let me keep what's mine. Please don't come for me. If you mustn't, just please wait. Let me have some time. So please don't come for me. Mind over matter. Don't lie when you're mad as a hatter. It's hard to draw a clear distinction. Who you are, who you were. Through the looking glass, where past and future begin to blur. No one can blame you. Well, they say the world is what you make it. You think, speak, and breathe, and those rules still apply. Stuck in a world of make-believe. Make the best with what you're given. Don't come for me. I promise I'll be great. Just to let me keep what's mine. Don't come for me. If you mustn't, just please wait. Let me have some time. Don't come for me. Mind over matter. Don't lie when you're mad as a hatter. Red off the dead, big roses, red off the dead, off the dead, big roses, red off the dead, big roses, red off the dead, off the dead, big roses, the queen. Big roses, off the dead, big roses,
Well, any first thoughts, Adrian?
A powerful song with a powerful story behind it. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to discuss mental illness because people tend to get freaked out at the mention of the subject.
Yeah.
And they were singing about their grandparents. And I'd
Yeah.
say bravo to them for having the courage to talk about it. And they also wrote and performed a song about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It does take some courage to write about that. I'm sure it's a traumatic thing to watch your loved one go through something like that. So, pretty heavy topic. And I mean, it's one of those things that affects everybody, but few like to talk about it. And so it's just nice to see when somebody does do that. Musically, I was blown away by them. I think they play really, really well. It's like they're reading each other's minds and listening carefully. I mean, you can tell that that's how they constructed these things. Like, I don't think necessarily that was improvised, but I think that they probably came to this song and, the parts in the song by working things out together. So I loved that. I thought they were superb on their respective instruments. We had the mandolin and we had the dobro there, and they both just sounded amazing. The dobro, what a great lead instrument, for something like this.
For some reason, I thought it was like a slide guitar with an ebow or something like that. I guess that would produce a similar sound, perhaps. But...
Yeah, well, she was actually wearing finger picks, like the steel finger or whatever, the metal picks that people wear on their fingers. So she was using those, and then she had reverb. She had some pedals that she was using to create kind of a psychedelic sound, actually. Something that was way out there and created an atmosphere. And sounded beautiful. The way that they sung, I thought, was really top notch, really amazing, really inventive. The way that they worked together, because they weren't singing the same thing. They had very distinctly different parts, pretty much throughout the song, and they just knew how to weave through, just like with the instruments. And so I was very impressed with their musicianship and their arrangement of that and everything. I wouldn't mind hearing other songs that they've done, because this was cool, but it's like very heavy, and when it's like that, I almost have to put it into another category for a moment, because you don't want to shortchange the subject matter. But at the same time, I'd like to hear them playing something that maybe isn't as heavy. You know what I mean? So outstanding.
Yeah, it definitely was. So they sing about their grandfather. Time stole his mind, and I can't forget that 1/4 of his blood is mine.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at the lyrics.
And please don't come for me. I think they're asking that of the mental illnesses that affected their grandparents.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can come to that conclusion, especially, you mentioned earlier, 1/4 of his blood is mine. And there was also their grandmother who had dementia. Now, of course, their grandmother and their grandfather were not blood related, so that must be a little frightening too. But dementia is one of those things that affects far, far too many people. Probably every family has somebody that's gone through dementia at some point or another, maybe within a couple generations or something. Yeah, that would be a great thing for them to clear up someday, I know there's research being done on it. As they were singing, I know some of the, we were looking at captions that were clearly wrong, so I'm not putting those up, but but it gave us a pretty good idea. Yeah, I know what time is. Time is a thief. It'll steal into bed and rob you while you sleep. You'll never feel it. It pulls off the covers, rifles through your head, and then you'll wait to find you can't remember what you just said. Happens to everyone. Just like the father of my father, time stole his mind. I can't forget 1/4 of his blood is mine. And I try not to worry. Yeah, see, there you go.
That's important.
Yeah, I mean, there are diseases where that if your family has it somewhere in your genetic system, that there's a chance that you're going to get it as well. And that can be really scary. It's the same kind of thing. I mean, there's also physical things that are like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think the answer there is to enjoy life. Warren Zevon once said, enjoy every sandwich. And I think that's a good piece of advice right there.
Yeah.
It's all about today. Yes, plan ahead. Yes, work for some other time or to pay your bills and all that. But really, your life is happening right this second. And it's so important to remember that and to use the time as best you can. And be grateful. Be grateful, too,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, anyway, I did enjoy the band. Folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this? And if you are familiar with the band, why don't you give us some other suggestions, some other things to look at? I'd really like to hear them in full almonds mode when, if there is such a thing. That would be interesting. And if you have other information to share about them, by all means, leave that below. We're ready to read about it. We did do some homework here, but they are a completely new band to us. Definitely interested in hearing more. So leave those below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right. Take care, folks.
See you all later.